Welcome to the Fire and Earth podcast with your hosts, Jason Mefford and Kathy Groover. Fire and Earth, giving you the keys to unlock your limitless potential.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Fire and Earth podcast. I'm your co-host, Kathy Groover.
And I'm Jason Mefford, and today we want to talk about the weather, right? Hey, in small talk, you're always taught to talk about things like the weather, right? Because that's something that anybody can talk about. But we're going to talk about it in a little bit different way today, because one of the prompt questions that we were looking at to give us ideas for this said something to the effect of, if your mood was a weather forecast, what would you be? And so, we thought that was kind of an interesting thing to jump in and talk about because, it's something I've been doing, not using the weather, but in a similar way. So we wanted to kind of get started with that today. So
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of a weird question, but if you analyze, just jumped on me. I'm sorry. I'm outside and something's crawling around out here. It's kind of, when I first read it, I went, "Oh, that's a weird question." But now that you think about it, it's like, yeah, I mean, moods are sort of weather forecasts, right? And I'm outside. It's beautiful here in Santa Barbara. Slight haze, but the sun. Typically, I would say I'm pretty sunny. I mean, I tend to have a positive outlook. I'm funny. I'm fun. I'm outgoing. I'm talkative. But I'm going to say today I'm probably partly cloudy. Mostly sun, but partly cloudy. Today's my dad's birthday, and he's no longer with us. And when I woke up and was looking through, I always look at Facebook memories in the morning. And from 5 years ago, which would have been the first birthday without him, there was a beautiful tribute, and I was sitting there watching and just sort of crying a little bit. And so I think I'm partly cloudy today. Mostly sun, but I think occasionally a cloud goes by.
well, and so for you today, right? Mostly sunny, partly cloudy with a chance of rain.
Oh, that's true.
Potentially, right? Because again, as tears come down, we can think of that also as kind of rain.
Yeah.
And so I think it's interesting because too, it is the weather is a way to kind of describe multiple facets, if you will, right? Like you said, mostly sunny, partly cloudy, chance of rain,
Showers, chance
right?
of showers.
Chance of showers, thunder, lightning,
Mm,
all these things that can be there. And so for me, again, I'm a sun sign, I'm a Leo. I have a strong affinity with the sun. I tend to be positive most of the time. So most of the time I'm sunny, but sometimes those dark clouds kind of come over and it kind of blocks out a little bit of my sunshine, and I have to, do some cloud bursting to get the sun back,
yep.
right? And so I think it's an interesting way. And I'll be honest, there's some days when I'm thunder and lightning and fire and damnation, you
Mm-hmm.
know, when something happens and I'm just, in a different kind of mood. Sometimes the fire, the thunder and lightning comes out
Yeah.
in me. Right now, I don't want it thundering and lightning every day,
No.
right? And I think also too, it's there's no need to be afraid or worried about different weather patterns.
Mm,
And so, I'm in northern Arizona and we get monsoons here. So typically July, August, but we had our first big monsoon actually this last week.
wow.
And so it probably dropped, 3 to 4 inches within a couple hours. We're in the desert, but when the rain comes down like that, it comes down,
Yeah.
right? And one of my favorite things to do is to actually sit outside on my porch and watch the rain,
Yeah.
right? And there's no reason to fear the rain. If you don't like to get wet, that's fine, right? But the rain brings cleansing.
Yeah.
For me at least, there's nothing, more satisfying than going outside right after it's rained
Yes.
and you smell kind of the cleanness in the air, but
Mm-hmm.
it also kind of amplifies all of the other smells of nature,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, hey, when there's parts, times in your life when it rains, celebrate it enjoy because you know what's coming after the rain too.
Well, and to that point, so two things kind of came to mind when you were talking. One of which, so we were just in Pittsburgh where it was fucking hot. It was hot. It was mid to high 90s, lots of humidity. And there was one day we went to Kennywood, which any Pittsburghers listening, that's the amusement park in town. And so we're at Kennywood and it's just stifling. And we get in the car and it was like 96 degrees. And by the time we get back to the hotel and the evening starts to hit, a thunderstorm happens, which California, we don't get thunderstorms very often. So we're outside, we're watching this. The temperature dropped from like 92 to 78. That thunder and that lightning gave relief, right? It dispelled that energy and allowed us to be in a more comfortable place. And isn't that sometimes what our anger and frustration does, right? We release that tension and then we can go back to this sort of like more pleasant state. The other thing, when you first started talking, for me about partly sunny, partly cloudy, chance of showers. Well, if that's what I know I'm like today, just like if I check the weather in the morning and I go, oh, it's going to be chilly and it might rain, I'm going to grab an umbrella, I'm going to grab a coat, I'm going to grab a hat, I'm going to grab something different. So knowing that I am partly cloudy with a chance of precipitation, what do I have to do to prepare for my day? Do I have to build in more breaks? Do I have to tell my partner, hey, I might be sad today because it's my dad's birthday? Do I need to warn a client, hey, maybe a song will come on while I'm massaging you that makes me feel a little melancholy? Hey, what do I have to do to prepare the same way I would for my day with the weather? So that kind of popped into my head too. So what is your weather today, Jason?
Well, it's gonna be I don't know, I haven't really thought about it yet, but it's a Friday, it's a busy morning. But I have some this recording to do, some other videos to record as well. So it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a happy day. Because of where I live, there's probably going to be a little bit of cloud cover at parts of the day. But who knows? I'm not expecting a chance of rain, at least, for me. But there may be some wind or thunder, who knows? Because again, I know there's a certain conversation that I'm probably going to have today. Not that it's going to be a bad conversation, but it just may be one of those where things get a little windy, right? And that's okay too. I used to, for all the different kinds of weather, the wind was the one that I just did not like. And, when I go to places like Chicago where the wind really blows,
Yeah.
or some of the places, that I go where the wind just always seems to be blowing, I used to not enjoy it because it was literally like the wind was going through me. I was
Yeah.
cold. I mean, I remember one time I was up in the Sierra Mountains and it was 20 degrees and it was probably 20-mile-an-hour winds. And it was fucking cold.
Yeah, it goes
Right?
right through you.
It goes right through you. We were hiking, we were camping. I mean, we
Ugh.
were miles away from anything, and it was a long night, right? But I've come to appreciate the wind more because, again, even like if it's 100 degrees outside, but there's a little breeze, sometimes that breeze brings that little bit of comfort or cool air. And the wind also helps to kind of blow out the clouds,
Yep.
maybe. And so, it's okay to have a little wind in your life too.
Yeah.
So, but I love what you said, and I think it's important for all of us to kind of remember that. And you even did it because when you said that, I'm like, oh, she's preparing, and it was the same thought you came back to. Is you already knew, right, that today may bring some surprises, right? And you were already thinking about that and already planning for it. And it's I think a good point for all of us to be in if we know there's certain conversations we're going to have that may be storming in nature. If there's certain things that are going on in our lives, certain days that are have more significance to us, prepare for them,
Yep.
right? And again, it's like, but but don't get so over concerned. I actually used to use the weather as examples when I was teaching some risk management courses.
No.
It's like 10% chance of rain. You going to carry an umbrella?
Nah.
Probably not. 20%, 40%. Well, when you get to 40 or 50%, maybe, right? If it's 90%, you probably are going to take an umbrella. Right? But then again, it's also going to depend on where you're at. Because, if you're here in northern Arizona and it does monsoon, let's say, it's going to be in a relatively short period of time, right? It could only be 5 or 10 minutes. It could be an hour or two, but that's all it's going to be, and it's going to be in the afternoon. If I'm in Orlando, I know it's going to rain every day for about 15 minutes in the summertime because it just does that.
Hawaii too, same thing. It's like, oh, it's going to rain. You're like, oh crap, it's rain. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's 10 or 15 minutes gone. Right. And so again, do I carry an umbrella in Orlando? I'm not going to carry an umbrella for 10 minutes. Right. But, we can think about those things in our mood, in our energy, in how our day is going to go, and just, maybe make those little choices, right, to kind of prepare. Like you said, if you need to prepare your partner that, hey, you know what, today I might be a little moody is not the right word, a little melancholy, but not even that, a little longing, whatever the words might be, that, just understand that that's what I'm kind of dealing with today. And I just want to, check in with you and let you know how I'm feeling. And it's okay, whatever weather ends up happening, is what happens.
Yeah. And sometimes a storm blows through that you're not even expecting.
Oh, yeah. Where'd that tornado come from? There's not supposed to be tornadoes here.
Yeah, no. Cool. This has been a fun conversation. All right. I am Kathy Groover. I can be reached at kathygruver.coach.
And I'm Jason Mefford, and I can be reached at jasonmefford.com. So go out and enjoy the weather. If you need to prepare something, put on a little sunscreen, grab an umbrella. Do that if you need to. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Fire and Earth podcast. See ya.
See ya.